Bitcoin is a digital currency, which is kind of strange because if me and you wanted to make a digital currency, what does that even mean, right? Do you control some ledger, some Excel sheet that has how much we both have? So Bitcoin came around using this blockchain technology so that both of us actually control the same ledger. The same source of record is controlled by both of us. And later on, that ledger grew to thousands and thousands of other operators. And all Bitcoin is a history of the transactions from different keys. So as long as I have a 64-digit key, that stores money. And I could use that key to send you money, and you could use your key and send other people money. If you are heavy in Bitcoin, it is good for you because Bitcoin has been inversely correlated with the dollar in terms of the dollar compared to the other basket of currencies. So if the dollar crashes or goes bad, Bitcoin is going to go up historically. That's just how it's happened. Bitcoin has also been tied to other assets, but only in various times. To get just a brief summary, Bitcoin was pretty much tied to the S&P 500 for a little bit. And then as the oil crashed in March, I believe, everything got liquidated. So Bitcoin is considered a risky asset because it is volatile. It's getting harder to project almost any asset. But if you do have a thesis that the dollar is going to decrease in value compared to other currencies, if you go by the thesis, Bitcoin will eventually, should go up in the long term. Cryptocurrencies as a whole, we can get into that. It's a whole ecosystem out there. Also, it starts benefiting from the decentralization of governments and their policies as well. After oil crashed in March, it crashed again today to negatives. But when it crashed in March, all the capital came out of Bitcoin. That was a great opportunity again to put your money in. I predict though that after the halvening, there will be less mining incentive. So if inflation is cut, there's less infrastructure to support the system because it's just not going to, be break even.
So 2 years ago, I know Bitcoin was around 20,000. I want to say like it was around that peak. And I was telling Robert that I don't understand. It's as volatile to me as the stock market. So you really have to play the same kind of game as the stock market. And so I'm not understanding where's this benefit? If I were an investor looking to buy Bitcoin.
Yeah, so I don't think Bitcoin itself as a currency. It's not something that I would go out and spend it. There's just too many problems with the volatility. There's actually very slow transaction speeds. For me, what I look at is the technology itself, how that can be applied to other use cases in the world, which we'll go into, I'm sure, later. And that is where I look. So I don't actually have that much Bitcoin. I actually look at Ethereum. I look at the decentralized finance projects of where Ethereum is going. And there's a lot of startups that are trying to scale blockchain technology as well that I look at too.
What is Ethereum?
So Ethereum takes blockchain technology and it added a concept called smart contracts. So basically, I could create a smart contract between you and me, Robert. It's just an auditable piece of code that we can send money to. And let's say you're paying me salary, $100 a week for whatever, just be on the phone to call you. So you can just put in $10,000 in your smart contract and it'll automatically pay me. There'll be no bank in between. There's nothing in between at all. Me and you could just operate on this small little piece of code that does any mainstream thing. So people took that concept and they built entire applications on it. So entire applications that can do almost anything. It's a little bit slow right now, so it's not shown any real value in the world yet, but the advancements of Ethereum 2.0, which are coming later this year, are trying to remedy that problem.
So Jeff, my concern as an old guy is what's to prevent everybody from just coming up with their own crypto, like, what's this? Facebook has that, what do they have now?
Libra.
What the hell is that?
So it might help to kind of talk about the advancements of cryptocurrency through the years. 2017, 2018, when we saw the heights of the bubble, we saw it was like a year of speculation. People thought this technology would change the world, but no one really knew why. So all these startups came up to fruition. They had initial coin offerings, ICOs. People had this value creation from thin air, from just ideas, from just white paper, right? But money did fly into the ecosystem. A lot of smart people were in there making these startups. And then 2019 hit, we kind of figured out, well, is there a product market fit? Nobody is really going to use this if it comes out, right? So a lot of money then came out of crypto. So right now, There's the only form of investing in crypto right now that's popular is the initial exchange offering, the IPO. And those are still very profitable, and that's stuff we talk about in the newsletter. But right now is a globalization on this technology. Just this year, the World Economic Forum published the CBDC framework. CBDC stands for Central Bank Digital Currency. So it actually is teaching all these countries how to make their own cryptocurrencies.
But how do you maintain value if everybody's going to just make their own coins or whatever?
Let's look at each of them individually. Facebook obviously is a central entity. It's a company that is creating a not-for-profit organization that's rallied around an organization of different people. So like we have venture capitalists, we have utility companies, we have payment companies, we have like Uber is involved, for example, and nobody actually owns this association. Everyone just has a vote, and they have created a currency that they originally were going to back it as one currency. Now it's going to be multiple currencies tied to each currency in the country. So USD coin, you'll have a pound coin, a euro coin. That's one model, right? The other model is the China model, where they say, this is going to be China's currency. And we are going to distribute it through all our tech companies. They already have Tencent involved, they have Alibaba, and all their biggest banks, they're all involved in distributing this currency.
So what's the advantage to Facebook for having Libra? The reason I mentioned that is because more people know about Facebook and this thing called Libra than the other stuff you mentioned. So why would Facebook want to start Libra?
So the primary reason is to expand into other countries that don't have very good banking systems. So if all I need, again, is a key to generate a wallet, to accept payments, I can now build a business in any country, as long as there's money coming in, as long as money can be transferred within that country. That's Facebook's primary reason to begin with.
So it's going to bypass the banking system and the business system of, let's say, Spain.
Yes, or in unbanked areas like in Africa, where it's harder to get a bank account. It's harder to get money into Africa or convert it into a US dollar equivalent. You could run your Facebook Marketplace page, you can accept payments with Libra, and then you could interact with anybody around the world as long as you're using Libra.
So the other countries would not want Libra simply because you compete with their central bank.
Correct.
And so how much pushback are they getting?
So much pushback. I believe a few European countries have already banned Libra. They said, like, there's no way this is going to fly, right? Unless Libra was pegged by the euro, right? What we try to do is just analyze the company, see if it's worthwhile. We have a network of other venture capitalist firms as well, and we just make sure that everybody's, on the same page, that this isn't some scam for investors.
What stops one of the code writers or developers from hitting delete and wiping one of these cryptos out?
So these currencies are all supported by a network of people, a network of servers. So the worst a person can do is try to attack it with hardware, and then that's just going to be futile. It's not going to work. Like you can turn off a server, but the whole network of servers still exists with this ledger. So in a short summary, it's not really possible.
Yeah, he's a gold and silver guy, and somebody gave him some Bitcoin. He lost it. How does a person lose Bitcoin?
So the 64-digit key we talked about, with whether it's on a USB drive, whether it's on your phone or a piece of paper, if you lose that, then you cannot transfer that coin out or those coins out. So that is one of the biggest things that's bugging crypto right now. How do we keep cryptocurrency keys and key management in a better format? And that's other, in all the technologies that we're exploring, that's definitely one area we're looking at as well.
So how does a person like me not lose my key or something?
The typical way is having a backup and then putting it in your sock drawer on a piece of paper. You can also,
how do people stay in touch with you?
So if you want to sign up for our newsletter, it's at rocketfuelcrypto.com.
How much is that?
That is about $47 a month. There is a free trial though. You can always see if it's good for you or not. You get access to weekly videos and a monthly newsletter.
Outstanding.